Hello friends, and welcome back to the Chillist series, an ASMR series by me, K-Nite. Today we are playing The First Tree. This is a game that was suggested to me by one of my followers, Human Ramen. So first of all, I want to thank her for suggesting this game. It seems like perfect kind of chillist game. You know, it looks very relaxing, just kind of explorative type game. So I really don't know too much about it. So let's jump right in and see how it goes. New game. So from what little I saw from like just kind of the trailer, looks like we play as a fox. But that's really all I know.
Are you awake? I thought I heard you get up.
Yeah, I'm awake. Sorry, I just can't sleep.
Are you thinking about him?
Yeah, a bit. You should get back to sleep, my love. I'm fine.
No, it's okay. What else is on your mind?
I don't know, it seems weird, but I had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried. Those eyes. I can't get those eyes out of my head. She was running in the windy snow, looking for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense. A lot's happened the past couple days, that's all.
Well, if you're not going to sleep anyway, you should tell me. I want to hear.
All right.
It's kind of interesting in these games, and I know there's like a psychology behind it, but basically the way the game is made, you kind of know where you're supposed to go, and it's just like through world building and just how the map is made, and it forces your eye to tell you where to go. Like there's nothing that told me I had to jump over that log, but as soon as the map opened up, as soon as I could see, I knew that's where I was supposed to go. You know, it's just interesting how game developers are able to do that, and we could probably explore a little bit more. I don't know if there's collectibles in this game or not, but we're just gonna move forward. So for those of you who are new to the Chillist series, oh, hello, fox friend.
So,
no.
not far from her home, she followed that path to something unexpected.
Oh, that's sad. Is that like one of hers? Oh.
She couldn't stay, though. She had to find her other two children. So she took that path. She followed it towards something ancient. Something with answers. The fox looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree. It was as if each one had a story to tell, all their own. The land was trying to tell my story, too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
Again, so for those of you new to my channel and what I call my Chillist series, this is my soft-spoken ASMR series where I just play really relaxing games and I just talk in my really relaxing voice. I talk about anything. A lot of times I'll make notes and of things I just kind of want to talk about throughout the week. These videos come out every Sunday, so if you would like to, if you like this, if you think this is something you'd be interested in, yeah, every Sunday I put out a Chillist video, so just to let you know. Okay, so it seems like we're looking for these lights. He said something about the lights are showing us to our other children. So it sounds like we had 3 children and the one we just ran into up there was passed away. Now we're looking for our other 2 children. But he said something about the lights leading us to, oh, we can dig a tree. Oh, here we go.
Remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
That is such a cool skill. I mean, being able to make anything with your hands is pretty amazing. And I feel like a lot of people, I don't know how to put this, but let me put it this way. I like making these videos because when you make them, there's an outcome. You have a thing when you're done that is a finished product, and I like them because they are like this sort of creative outlet for me, and I feel like that's something everybody needs, is something that they can do that's just something they can do that's creative, and there's nothing right or wrong about it. There's just, but especially like working with wood, or a painting, something you can physically have afterwards when you're done. There's something extremely pleasant about that, I find, and it's very cathartic. Okay, so there was some more light over there. I think we'll go check that out. I don't know if there's fall damage or... Yeah, I think we can just go down. Don't have to worry about getting hurt. I don't know if there's damage or if we have a health bar or anything like that. No, but we can run. Oh, I see. Toggle. You toggle sprinting. So earlier today, I streamed the new Final Fantasy VII Remake demo that just came out, and I gotta say, I'm very impressed. I really enjoyed playing it, because, I mean, obviously I go into much, the VOD should be up very soon if it's not already up, but, I mean, everything about it was, really kind of what I was looking for. I mean, obviously the graphics are way better, but that was, pretty much to be expected. I don't think they really could have screwed that up. But the way they're developing the characters is very well done. The dialogue is much better. I think the biggest thing that worried me, I guess the biggest thing that worried me non-story wise was the gameplay and the battle system, I guess specifically.
Did you ever do show and tell in your class?
Yeah, I think I only did it once, when I was in the 4th grade. You know how my life was around then. I wanted to show my class what helped pass the time and distracted me, so I brought a dozen paper cranes I had made. I think I told everyone how badly I wanted to be a bird and fly, embarrassingly enough.
Don't be embarrassed. Every kid wants to fly. For me, it was another toy from my dad.
Every person wants to fly.
I remember guarding it so carefully in my hands as I walked into class. When I sat down, a group of boys immediately made fun of it. They asked which trash can I found it in, or why an ugly log was my favorite toy. When I got up, I didn't even want to tell them my dad had carved it. I said it was a joke gift my friend had given me.
Kids can be so cruel.
Some of them are. I shouldn't have let them get to me, but it did. It's amazing we bounced back at all.
Well, that reminds me. That story just brought back this memory I haven't thought about in a long time. When I was a kid, like I was in Boy Scouts, and my dad and I made a cake for like a big meeting they were having. And my dad, you generally do not trust him in the kitchen. But I think my mom was even out of town or something, and she wasn't there. So my dad actually helped me make a cake, and we put like a little scene on it with a road, and I think we used like a Twinkie maybe for a car on the road, and we ended up using broccoli for trees, which of course would not normally go on a sweet cake, you know, like a dessert type cake. But I remember, you know, being so happy about it and so proud about it, because, you know, me and my dad made it together. And then at the meeting, I forget exactly what it was. It was for Boy Scouts, but I don't remember exactly what the reason for it was. I know it was the boxcar derby, or like not the boxcar derby, but like what do they call it? The hand car derby, you know, just the little like wooden cars that you can make, which we actually made a car for that too. But anyways, all the cakes were like sitting out, and I think they were being judged, and like the top 3 people got a prize or something. I forget exactly, but I walked over to my cake, and there were these 2 kids looking at it, and they were making fun of it and laughing at it. I was like, are you guys making fun of my cake? And they were like, no, we're making fun of this cake. I was like, yeah, that's my cake. And like, I don't remember what happened after that, but I remember that just, made me sad. I was like, me and my dad worked hard on that, and I was proud of it. And I don't remember exactly how it affected me then, but obviously affected me enough that I still remember it probably 20 years later. This is back in grade school. It's funny that just brought that up. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. But the biggest, back to Final Fantasy VII, that's probably going to be a big topic for today's episode. We'll see if this is the thing that I'll talk about it. Yeah, I'll probably have to talk about it more after this.
Usually those kids would leave me alone, but somehow they could tell I was different. They made fun of how far away I lived. They called my dad a sourdough. I was a blabbermouth as a kid, telling my dad stories I made up for hours. But after that show and tell, I didn't tell him much anymore. He didn't know exactly what was wrong, but his best guess was that the toys he carved weren't cool enough. He carved me a tank and tried to tell me what it was like to be in a real tank as a serviceman.
I I didn't know your dad was in the military.
Yeah, in the army. The sad thing is that I'd pretty much forgotten until just now. There's so much I still don't know about him.
I'm sorry. He knows how much you love him. You're going to see him again soon and have some closure, I'm sure.
So I know this is like a dream world, so it's kind of interesting that these little toys are, you know, kind of showing up. And the story behind them, you know, like you said, his dad was probably in an actual tank like this. Alright, we're gonna head up there next. I saw something up there. If we can figure out a way to get up there. I think we can get up there this way. We'll try. This little fox, I gotta say, has got some pretty mad ups. There we go. So my biggest concern, like I said, non-story wise, was the battle system and how it was going to work in Final Fantasy VII Remake. And it seemed, you know, just first initial reactions were, looks like another toy, a little toy duck. They were going to be more Kingdom Hearts like, so it was just kind of going to be a smash square game, you know, just mash it. But what, you know, the big draw for me of the gameplay of Final Fantasy games are their strategic value. I like figuring out how enemies work and, you know, learning their strengths and their weaknesses and how to exploit them. And but I was worried that wasn't going to be in the remake, because especially the last couple Kingdom Hearts games, well, specifically Kingdom Hearts 3, what they were trying to do was expand their audience with, it felt like, no regard for their old fans, while at the same time the story's so complex. There's no way that anybody could just jump into Kingdom Hearts 3. And Kingdom Hearts 3 was just, it was too easy, honestly. It was way too easy. It was basically, you could just smash X, and then when triangle popped up, you hit it, and you became super powerful, and you just kept mashing square. But I really still wanted a strategic element to Final Fantasy VII. So with the demo, actually getting to play it for the first time, and they talked about that. You know, I watched all the E3 demos they had out. Can you get up there? There we go. It doesn't seem like there's anything up here. So they kind of addressed that in the different conferences and trailers they released, and, you know, talks they would give. But actually getting to play it was very fun and super satisfying, and I'm super, at least so far, I'm very happy with how the battle system works. And, you know, I've really only just scratched the surface. Like, you really only get to play like the first hour of the game, but so far I'm very happy, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
I ask myself, why talk to anybody anyway? Why bother when I'm happy by myself? I started drawing a lot, mostly animals I saw in the woods by my home. I then imagined designing my own hideouts with things like TVs and pantries full of chips and cookies. I think that idea of leaving home and drawing blueprints started my career. I found a lot of solace in that.
I'm not surprised, but I did the same thing, you know? There's something special about having a place to call your own.
And now look at us. Well, if you count renting in an overpriced city.
It's as close as we can get for now.
remember doing that as a kid as well. We had a sort of tree house. It wasn't actually in a tree. It was just like a standing little room in I guess it was more of just like a playground in my backyard. Like as a kid, like when I think we moved into the house when I was 3 months and moved out when I was 10. Okay, yeah, definitely no fall damage. That's good to know. But I remember, thinking as a kid, oh, I'm gonna go live out there and be on my own, have my own place, do my own thing. And can't we hop up here? We're getting there. But there, I actually remember taking clothes out there. I had a bag and I put some clothes out there and I brought it out there and was out in the treehouse, playhouse, and was like, yep, I'm living here now. But of course, I wasn't out there for very long. It gets cold at night, It's very interesting how this game is just like bringing out these memories of, again, like stuff I haven't thought about in a long time. But I'm sure a lot of these sort of ideas they're bringing up, I assume it's probably a lot of people have similar experiences, There's just certain things we all have as just people that we can all relate to. We all experience at one point in our lives or another, like embarrassment or
My teenage years were
wanting to run away,
searching,
anger.
angst, and trouble. I wasn't popular or unpopular. Maybe just forgettable. I guess that gave me a sense of freedom. So I hung out with crazy kids, doing crazy things, even though I mostly just watched the chaos ensue. We did it all. Put fireworks in mailboxes, hide roadkill in people's garages, break windows of the barber shop in Anchorage. My dad was furious, but he was so busy working he couldn't do much to stop me from going out.
I think being an adult means there's no one to stop you making hard decisions. He had to make a living, and he couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah, I realize that now. But at the time, I was sure he was more interested in growing his business than what was going on with me.
Again, being a kid, especially a teenager, you don't really understand your parents, and your parents don't really understand you. Growing up, it's not an easy thing, and having kids is certainly not an easy thing. But you kind of hope, as a parent, which I'm not a parent yet, but I'm definitely at a point in my life where, I'm old enough to be a parent, that's for sure. But I'm starting to see things more now from a parent's perspective than a kid's. So what was that, something with the butterflies? What was with the butterflies? Butterflies plus jump. So wait a minute, I saw those butterflies over there. Do I need to go collect butterflies or something? Oh, okay, here's butterflies here. Okay, so this give me a super jump. Okay. But you only get one out of it. This is another chalkboard. Otter Lake. Are these missing kids or something? Pictures of missing kids. A new chief. Barbershop. Okay, so it's kind of like a map of his town. where he grew up. Has he said his name yet? I know he said his, I assume, wife. Her name is Rachel. I don't know if he said, or if she said his name or he said his own name. But I'm kind of understanding, kind of getting the vibe that this game is kind of just his story, kind of going through his life, through his eyes, but through the eyes of the fox, you know? I guess not through the eyes of the fox, through the experience of the fox. And with the changing seasons, he's also growing.
He was working another late night, and my friends were over, saying how bored they were and how they'd come all the way out to my house for nothing. One of them mentioned how that old, ugly beyond belief truck was still in the garage, and how we should take it for a spin. I was only 15, so I kind of fought it for a while. The next thing I knew, we were careening around the mountain path, rocks spitting onto the sides of the cliff, while my dad's cringeworthy bluegrass blared out the speakers. I drove while my friends were in the back of that yellow and purple truck, throwing beer bottles and trash at anything remotely interesting. Felt like I was soaring in the air with borrowed wings. But all good things have endings. A cop outside of Eagle River pulled us over after he saw us send a bottle rocket into someone's yard. What followed was a long night of talking to disappointed adults and feeling smaller than ever.
Yeah, I've also been there before. I was arrested once as a teenager. Even though I probably should have been arrested a couple times for the stupid shit I did. But I did have I mean, you know, I didn't hurt anybody. That's, you know, the important thing. As a teenager, you know, you gotta test your limits, and that's just part of growing up, you know. Okay, so can we make it up here? And another quick note, I just want to say, there's no such thing as cringeworthy bluegrass. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Bluegrass is a wonderful American music style that I fully endorse. Say some, and you know, it might just be in my blood though, because you know, bluegrass is traditionally known as you know, from Kentucky. Bluegrass music is from Kentucky. I got some roots in Kentucky, and on my mom's side, I have some family that was from Kentucky or lived in Kentucky for a while. I don't know actually like the full extent, but like I said, I know it's my mom's side from Kentucky. Also, that waterfall looks beautiful. I love the art style of this game. It's very nice. And the music, I'm telling you, this music is very good. Like, I noticed that right from the beginning. There was a YouTube video I watched of a game, and I can't remember the name of the game. It's a very like simple game with where you are a bird, and I want to call it, say it's called Gray something, Gray Matter or something, maybe. Oh, is that the truck, the old beat up truck that he got arrested in? But the music in it was very, very good. But the problem was it was extremely repetitive. So I kind of got sick of the one song that it just played on repeat. But so far I'm not hearing a whole lot of repeating in here, so
After he
that's
drove
good.
me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was gonna be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window. In my sage teenage wisdom, I thought I proved the ultimate point. But my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough, it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow, I knew you were a crazy teenager, but...
It's hard to believe, isn't it? It surprises me too. It's like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, "Make this right," to himself, more than to me.
I wonder. I don't know anything about the maker of this game, but I wonder how autobiographical this actually is. Like, is this story true, like completely true, or is it just based on, you know, a shared experience of the game developers, or I don't know, who knows? They know, I guess. You know, sometimes after I play a game, okay, let's try that again. Can I just jump? I might not even need the butterflies. Yeah, I'm good. But so I looked up about how long this game is, and it said most people play it for about 2 hours. So this is probably going to be 2 episodes. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. I was thinking, you know, maybe I would, between episode 1 and 2, look up a little bit about the game developers and the story, but at the same time I don't want any spoilers, so I don't know. We'll see. If I feel like I have a good enough understanding by the time we stop today, maybe I will. But we'll just have to see. Am I gonna need to go get butterflies? I might need to go get butterflies. Yeah, we're not gonna make that jump. We can collect multiple butterflies. Okay. So I think we're gonna have to get the one up on the waterfall first, and then grab the one on the rock, and then there's another one over here. And I guess these last two don't really matter their order, but I'm pretty sure we have to get the one up there first. No, here's the other one. Yeah, we will have to come back and get it. So with 3 butterflies, do we get like 3, like a triple jump, or do we just get 1 big jump? Okay, because it seems like we have to jump to get that, but I didn't grab it last time, and I thought I hit it. There we go. Okay. Okay, now we cannot jump until I'm ready over there, or else I'll lose the butterflies. Which I'm thinking, can we not? I don't know if we can get up here without jumping. Okay. I think we might have to go up the big rock and fall down, maybe? Yeah, okay, here we go. Oh. You know, I think to 100% the game, you probably have to collect all the little lights, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not too worried about 100% in this game. So
My friends would laugh about that night and talk about how crazy it was. And I laughed along, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. I imagined my friends growing old in the bush, unable to find that thrill in those godforsaken ice fields. It's like those mountains were a literal wall, keeping me from leaving, where all I would have to look forward to are lumber yards and evening beers. I had to climb over.
Oh no.
That was my only goal for a long time.
I jumped too early. We're gonna have to get all of them again. So I don't really mind too much. 'Cause again, this game it's just pretty, and the music is nice, so not too upset about having to come back. Okay. Good. Alright. That one I think is probably the hardest to get. The other two you just walk over. So, some other games I've been playing recently. I started playing Control, which is I think it came out just last year in 2019. And it's a very different game than anything I've really played before. Story-wise, I mean, it's got a very interesting style to it, and the way they like introduce you to the mechanics of the game is interesting. Like the opening scene kind of, and I don't want to say too much because it'll be spoilery, but the way the first scene just like throws you into it, and it's easy to miss if you're not paying close enough attention. I want to get this right. Okay, there we go. Good. Did not want to miss that again. Nothing else up here. Okay. Let's just do a jump because it's fun. Whee! But it's got this almost kind of David Lynch style to it.
If there was some way I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape, nothing would make me happier. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite inside me had created this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
There's one fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end. But then why am I awake? Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey? And why can't I stop thinking about my dad?
Alaska is such an interesting place. It's a place I wouldn't even say I've always wanted to go to, because it's very cold and can be very harsh and unforgiving. But it's funny, the older I get, the more appealing that is to me. I don't think I'd ever want to live there, but it's definitely a place I really want to visit. And I've always understood its beauty. It's always been, in my mind, a very beautiful place. And you see pictures of it, and that's undeniable. but I still don't think I could live there. I know a lot of people who live there like suffer with depression, and it's basically because, and especially in certain parts of Alaska, it's far enough north that, you know, they go in the winter, they'll go weeks, days, weeks, even months without any sunlight. Can we actually get up here? It seems like we can. Maybe not all the way up. No, I think we hit the wall. Oh, maybe. No, that's not. I don't think we're supposed to go up there. It just looked like from down here that we could go up there. But yeah, there's a lot of people in Alaska suffer from like depression and alcoholism as a result of it, and so again, I don't think I'd ever want to actually live there, but it's definitely a place I'd like to visit. And I've basically, since high school, I would say, I've sort of been roughly planning this trip to Europe. And just last week, I actually sat down and made a albeit rough outline of the trip I want to take. Because I always had certain destinations in mind, and maybe next week I'll go into like more detail about the actual specific places I want to go. I'll like pull up a list of the places I want to go. But one of the places... Is there going to be some dialogue? Hold on a second. No? Is that it? That looks like... Is that supposed to be the first tree? The name of the game? But one of the places I was looking into that I wanted to go was, or is, Iceland. Kind of for the same reasons as like I want to go there for the same reasons I want to go to Australia. I'm sorry, Alaska, just because it looks so beautiful there, and it almost seems like a completely other world there. There's a light way off in the distance. Can we actually get there? Oh, skateboard. But as I was doing research, planning my trip, I decided that I'm not going to do Iceland on this trip, simply because I want to have enough time to spend like a lot of time there and see. There's a lot of very interesting, different looking natural natural wonders, I would even say, in Iceland, and they all look so amazingly beautiful and different, and so I've decided that's going to be a whole separate trip. So as I was growing up, my family hosted several foreign exchange students. So that's kind of what first inspired this trip. Was I wanted to go visit them. What is this? See, there's 3 of them. Oh, okay. So apparently there's 3 of these? Is this just like... This is a pretty spot for a photo opportunity? Or this kind of looks similar to the tree we were just looking at. Maybe there are 3 different trees with 3 different pedestals in this area? I don't know. Let's see. Let's keep exploring and find out. But back in 2016, I took a very long trip. It was like a 7-month trip to Australia, New Zealand, and Indonesia. And I was like backpacking through Australia basically. And I met a lot of people there that became very, very good friends of mine very quickly because we were all, backpacking through Australia. So we bonded very quickly over that, but a lot of them were from Europe as well. So I wanted to visit them. So that's all kind of been added to this European trip I've been planning for a while. Mattress with some beer cans around it. So I'm guessing this is more like his 20s. I doubt he was. I mean, maybe he was, like when he was talking about when he was 15 running or driving that car, his dad's truck, that he was throwing beer bottles. Which, I mean, I guess the first time I drank, I was 16, I think. So I guess it's not unheard of that a 15-year-old would drink. I'm sure it happens, but I certainly wouldn't have driven while I was drinking when I was 15. I mean, obviously I wouldn't have driven at all. I didn't even have my license yet. But I don't know. I don't know if they were just like his dad's beer bottles or his and his friends' beer bottles.
My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something. He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while the sun set. Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or a cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it.
If you've ever had, or if you've never had venison jerky, I highly recommend it. It is delicious. A friend of mine used to go hunting. He's a big hunter, so he'd hunt in deer season. I'm no hunting expert. I've never been hunting before, so I don't know exactly how it works. I know there's a hunting season that you can go hunting for deer, but he would, hunt. I think there's a limit to how many deer you can kill and take, but he would make deer jerky, and oh my god, it was so good. All right, let's head for this tree. Again, I'm assuming this is the title tree, the first tree. Head back on this path. I think it was just along this path. This looks familiar. Here we go. It's interesting because, I mean, this game is, like I keep saying, it's very pretty. But it's only pretty because it's, emulating real nature, That's what's really pretty, is actual nature.
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I love sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
It's amazing what just getting out in nature and camping can do for you. Okay, so here's another one of these stones. Can you get up there? I think we have to time this, right? I think that was... There we go. Okay. So can we actually see his name? Oh yeah, Joseph. There you go. His name's carved in the tree. So he said something about 3 obsidian stones, so maybe that, I mean, this does not look like obsidian, but maybe that's what we're kind of looking for, 3 obsidian stones in this area. This is interesting. Is there like a... It just looks like, you know, twisted tree roots. Seems like you should be able to do something here, but I guess not. Okay. So I'm assuming we have to go back over there and search again. See if we can find like a 3rd stone to find. But as a kid, my family used to go camping a lot, and honestly, it's something I really miss. And I've been planning a just a camping trip this spring, and it's, you know, kind of just to get out there, man, because it's been so long. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I listened to a podcast about how good it is to be in nature, not only like for your mental state, just to kind of, you know, get out there and breathe the fresh air and get a different point of view, but it's also actually physically good for your health. If you go out and spend a day in nature, it supposedly like boosts your immune system for, I forget exactly what it was, but it was for like a month or something, like just from being outside for a day. So it's interesting how just being outside is actually physically good for you. I just found that very interesting. And it has lasting effects, you know. I mean, 1 day in nature to 1 month of good health, I mean, that's a pretty good ratio. So, you know, and this is coming from a person who loves playing video games. I love, you know, being inside and playing games and watching stuff, and so you know, I'm just saying, you guys, it wouldn't hurt to get outside too. If you don't get outside enough, you know, give it a shot. Try that more often. Ah, okay. This looks more like 3 obsidian stones. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, 3 big obsidian stones. Ooh, looks like there's a lot more than that. So okay, I see a big light off in the distance there, but I also saw one up there. I think that's probably the 3rd big one. So we'll go to this one first, and then we'll head over there. Is this? Yeah. No, I still think that's the last one over there. So I don't know if this is supposed to be like Alaska. Are there like obsidian mines or big obsidian rocks in Alaska? I don't know.
We were happiest underneath the evergreens. We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes, the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky. Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. But then why does it feel so different?
I doubt you're the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
It's interesting he brings up the aurora borealis, because one of the other games in this series, which I call the Chillist series, which is my ASMR, soft-spoken ASMR series. One of the biggest games I've definitely played so far on this series is called The Long Dark, and a lot of it revolves around, like, the main story revolves around the aurora borealis, and I talk about this a lot in my Long Dark playthrough, but a long time ago, I think what actually started it was I was watching Planet Earth, the nature documentary series Planet Earth, and there was shots of the aurora borealis, and I remember thinking, I was like, oh man, before I die, with my own two eyes, I want to see the aurora borealis for myself in person. And I remember thinking, if I don't write that down or something, I'm never going to actually remember that. So from that moment, I actually started a bucket list. And it's kind of interesting. This all kind of ties in together. The European trip I've been talking about. My plan is, my first stop is going to be Norway. I think it's called Tromsø, Norway. It's supposed to be like one of the best places to see the aurora borealis. Oh, I see it. And let's try and get up there first, I think. Is that where we want to go? Might be some... No, I don't think we can jump up there. That's too high. So yeah, it just, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's all just kind of like, before playing this, I didn't like plan any of this out or anything. Like the one thing I wanted to talk about today was the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. But I don't know. It's all kind of interesting. It's just kind of coming back together about, the last game I played, the Aurora Borealis, the European trip, I don't know. It's just interesting. Okay, do we have to time this? Am I just not on the right spot? Okay, wait for it. Is that not it? Do you have to... There we go. What was that? Did something change? Did something move? Oh, I see. So was this the the 3 rocks, they kind of make like a little bridge here, a little like shelter underneath. Maybe this was kind of the spot he was talking about. Are we supposed to get up there or something? Yeah, no, we can't get up there. Okay, I guess we'll just head back. 3 of 3, okay. Head back to this kind of the main area, see if we can find something else, see what we can see. Because it sounded like that opened up something when I got that third one. Is this just back? I think this is a way out. No, no, we came through here before. Okay, but yeah, this is also a way out. So I wonder if it did open something like out in the middle of this area. Is that? Is there something else back there? Because the light's still there, and I thought the light closed, or it, like, on the others. Can I see the other lights? If not, I might need to head back there again. I don't know, it feels like it. Or was that another light? Or was that the other light? I really thought like getting all 3 of those would kind of just progress the story or move us on to the next part of the map. Okay, maybe this is a new light. I'll go check it out. Or is this whole area different? I can't tell. No, I think that is just the other one. Okay. Well, where are we supposed to go now then? I don't think I finished my story from earlier about going camping. So I was planning on, or I am planning a camping trip for this spring, and my idea was, you know, just to get away from, I'm not bringing any electronics except for my phone, but the only time, like, we're putting, anybody who comes with me has to put their phone on airplane mode, and then we'll only use them basically in case of emergency. Because I think, you know, as much as I love electronics and I love video games, you know, sometimes it's good to just unplug completely. Well, we could just barely see that one over there. That one. But this one over here still seems brighter than the others. Is it just because we're closer, or? I don't know. I still feel like we need to do something over there. Let's look over here again real quick, and then if there's nothing else over here, we'll head back in there. See if I can find something I missed or something possibly. think anything else new opened up over here. We already got that. Okay, yeah, well, I guess we'll just head back in. I must have missed something. I do like the changing landscape. Like, not only with the weather, you know, kind of changes as seasons, but also like this area is way different than that area we were just in, you know. The obsidian rocks are way different than the, you know, heavily forested areas. Yeah, I think we just head through here. Well, I'm not sure what we're supposed to be doing then. They didn't even like give us any dialogue when we got the third one. Okay, well, it's been a little over an hour, so I think we'll actually go ahead and stop here. Next time we'll continue and see what we can see and get to learn more about Joseph and Rachel and Joseph's father and his childhood and more, I guess, just generally more about his life. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this, like I said, there will be another episode of this next Sunday. It will probably wrap up next week. I don't know, we'll see how long it actually is. And then new Chillist videos every Sunday. So consider subscribing if you enjoyed it, or liking the video. It means a lot to me and it helps a lot. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.